What's happening, you guys? Welcome back to a Tuesday tune-up. I'm J.M. Ryerson, and we are talking today about dealing with adversity. And I guess I'll start with the first thing is shocker. It's bound to happen. If you don't think adversity is coming your way, which we all know we're going to deal with it at some point, we shouldn't be surprised by it. But what is your plan of attack when it comes? And I ask this question to people frequently. When adversity, something negative happens, how do you deal with it? I get blank stares so often back at me like, I don't know. I don't have a plan. I just deal with it. And then they talk about the anxiety, the anger, the pain. Now, these are emotions we should definitely all feel. But in my opinion, we should definitely have a process of dealing with the negative thing that happens. Now, recently, and you guys all know this, I've dealt with this with my dad passing. So much of what I coach about is on how to live your best life and how to show up as the best version of you. And adversity struck. It struck 3 times pretty significantly this year. My dad passing away. I got a business partner that he screwed me over pretty good. And then I have my father-in-law that had a mini stroke, fell back and was unconscious. And so 3 pretty significant things. I guess I also have a torn labrum in a shoulder, but that's, whatever. That's normal stuff. But I really got a chance to test so much of what I coach on with going through, when this anger comes up, when these emotions come up, how do you deal with it? And so I want to talk about 3 things that help me. And I'd love to hear from you guys on what's been helping you. But the biggest thing to remember is to have a plan and don't be surprised. I equate it to, I used to go to a basketball camp, and the best shooter I ever was coached by said, you should be shocked when you shoot that ball if it doesn't go in the hoop. Like, you should be shocked. That's kind of how I feel when it comes to adversity. I should be shocked in a good way when it doesn't happen. Like, I just expect it on the daily. And so when it happens, I'm not shocked. It doesn't put me into a state of panic, but rather I get a chance to actually go through my process, feel the emotions that I need to feel, but it doesn't bury me. It doesn't put me in a bed for several days or in a funk or starting to fight with my spouse or not performing in my job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All these things that happen when adversity strikes. So I want to get you guys just a couple of tools that have been helpful to me. And then, of course, like I said, reach out to us at Let's Go Win 365 or info@letsgowin.com and let us know how you're dealing with it. And so dealing with adversity, one of the first things, I've talked about this on the show quite a while back, but meditation, or more specifically, box breathing. Now, box breathing is a very simple idea. I think I first heard of it back from the Navy SEALs. It may have been Jocko Willink or one of those guys, but they utilize it out when they're in stressful situations. And it's very simple. You breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4, and then you do nothing for 4. And you do that 3 times. And if you do it consecutively 3 times, by the time you get to that 3rd time, whatever was really bothering you has gone away, at least temporarily. I'm not saying, look, my dad passed away. I box breathing technique quite a bit. My dad's still gone and those emotions are still there. But for that moment, and for quite a bit after that, I could at least stifle so much of the conversation in my head, so much of the emotions. I could at least focus on something positive, focus on me for a moment. So again, I'll go through it real quick again. So box breathing, you breathe in for 4, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and then do nothing again for 4 seconds. And what it does is it allows you to reset. So one last little bit about technique. You breathe through your nose, you breathe out through your mouth when you get to that, and then nothing. And it's amazing what happens. So that's box breathing. That's something I utilize while driving. Somebody cuts me off on the freeway. I utilize it because instead of cussing at them about what a bad driver they are or whatever, because that is the one time it shows up for me, I just box breathe and it all goes away. My wife and I are fighting and I'm going to say something really stupid. I'm going to box breathe really fast. So I don't. I use it in situations all the time. The second one, and this won't be foreign to you guys, is just writing and journaling. Now, I've said this on this show and others. This is the best form of therapy that you have. Free, anyway, the best form of free therapy that you have. Your paper will not judge you for whatever you write down. But the great thing is it allows you to purge whatever is going on in your head as it's going around and around and around. All these things, all these negative thoughts when something negative happens, all these emotions, it just allows you to get it out onto paper, look at it and say, okay, I have something I need to go deal with, or it just allows me to get some clarity, some clear-headedness to really be mindful of my thoughts and not just let the programming go. Because again, when emotions happen, immediately that sets something off and we aren't necessarily thinking critically. We aren't really as sharp as we'd like to be. But when you just dump all that out onto paper, now you can start to get back to having clear thinking. So if you need questions to help you with the writing, a couple things. Is it real? How does that affect my life? How is the story I'm telling myself serving or not serving me today? Those are three questions I ask all the time when something happens. So again, in my dad's case, is it real? Yes, it's real. He passed away. The story that I'm telling myself, is it serving me? So I talking about, the emotions that I'm feeling, or maybe I have anger, or is that serving what I'm trying to do to be the best dad, to be the best husband, to be the best, employee, to be the best person that I can be for my friends? Typically it's not. So I want to get that out onto paper so that I can show up in those various roles that I'm a part of as the best version of me. The third thing is just getting back to nature. And I put / grounding. So for those of you that don't know what grounding is, that's simply walking barefoot on a beach, on grass, anywhere in nature where you actually take your sandals, flip-flops, shoes off and ground yourself. Why is that important? The world is made up of energy. And when you do that, you are now getting the earth, universe's energy, and that's healing. The other benefit is you actually do produce more red blood cells when you do it. I don't know the science behind it, so I can't really offer that to you. But when you do ground, you're getting the healing energies of the earth. The sun is also helpful, right? Getting some of those positive things. Now be mindful of how much time, wear sunscreen, but getting that vitamin D, we're all deficient in vitamin D. So getting out into nature, just reconnecting, putting our cell phones away, going a little technology free, even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour a day, can be so remarkably refreshing. And whatever that problem was. So again, if it's happening at the workplace and you're just ready to snap on your boss or coworker, do yourself a favor. Don't do that. Let's not get fired or reprimanded, but actually go outside and just take a break. Gather your thoughts, figure out how you want to go now deal with this situation if you need to, or just let it go. There's something about Mother Nature that's so healing and refreshing that thing that happened in work starts to dissipate, or you get clarity of mind. And when you go talk about it, you're not emotional, but rather you're speaking in a very clear manner and your point will come across. So when adversity strikes, which it's going to, just to rewind and give you the three things that I do the box breathing technique. I definitely write and journal, and I do that on a daily basis. and I get back to nature and I do a grounding. So just take off, let those feet out there, man. Let them get a little sun and just reconnect with the earth. I promise you, if you do those three things or one of them, you will feel better. The adversity will pass. As they say, this too shall pass. But these things will help it not be so painful along the way, and hopefully won't allow you to get into these interactions with your spouse, significant other, coworkers, and do something that you didn't want to do. So we know adversity is going to strike, and I just want you to be prepared for it. So my intent is for this to help you, to inspire you to show up as the best you, because I want you to show up as you. That's what the world is looking for. And when you employ some of these techniques, it allows that best you to flourish and show up. So until next time, remember, your mindset matters. Please share this with others that are dealing with adversity, that are going through challenges. It's helpful to me. It's helpful to people I coach. And so anybody that's seen this or listening to it, it should be helpful to them as well. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for listening. If this content is delivering value to you, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us. That helps us build this community, and that is what we are all about. Building this community as big as we can, helping as many people as we can, and deliver as much value as possible. Be sure to head over to letsgowinpodcast.com for information on my coaching courses, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Let's Go Win 365. Let's go win and transcend in life.
This is the Let's Go Win podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson.